With 3 transits happening this month of Sun and Mercury moving into Virgo, Venus moving into first the sign of Cancer and then transiting into Leo, and Mars transiting into Libra during the second half of the month. This month is going to be very eventful, and this is also going to get both opportunities for each of the rising sign people depending on what houses each of these planet rules, but also certain openings for you, certain insights for you, some deeper secrets also coming forth for your perusal. So now those people who are born in the Aries rising sign or Aries zodiac sign, for these people you will have at the start of the month till at least mid of the month, you'll have Venus, which will be transiting through the Cancer sign through the 4th house. So this means that the person will have a deeper focus on the domestic life, but also the good things in life, the better quality of lives. So a lot of focus will be given to good food, good clothes. Maybe you may dress up, maybe you may try out new different things also, like different perfumes, maybe buy a new watch, something that makes you look good, something which keeps you nourished, you may indulge in that. Now this is also important because of Venus being both the ruler of the 2nd house as well as the ruler of the 7th house. And now moving into the 4th house, which it is also the Karak of, which means one, those people who are connected in any which way through their work or their business to the domestic life or domestic things like domestic appliances, beautifying the home, products for the family, these people will do good. You will find business picking up, your work doing good, your department doing good, your company also doing good. This is also the time for people spending more time with your loved ones, especially the better half or your partner. So you may find that you may be going out more with your partner, spending more time with them, contemplating the future with them, buying certain things, going shopping with them. So this is a good time overall for social life, both with the family as well as with your partner or your loved one or your girlfriend, boyfriend, or even your spouse. Then you will also have Sun and Mercury at the start of the month in the sign of Leo, which Sun rules along with Mercury. So now this means that the analytical ability of the person will be activated. And because both Sun and Mercury are going to be aspecting Rahu till at least mid-month, which means the analytical ability along with the responsibility will also give rise to higher ambition. So a lot of such people may also want to focus on their wishes and desires on also higher ambition. So some of you may push your bosses, your superiors for better role, better project. Some of you may also contemplate moving into some other department, into some other responsibility, and a very few people may even contemplate moving jobs. So this is an important period for that contemplation, for the deep analysis, for deep insight to see which direction you want to move, which direction you want to go. And Mars is going to be remaining, at least for the initial part of the month, in the 6th house, in the sign of your enemies, your competition, your inimical forces. So you will find that there will be some friction at work. There may also be some tug of war between you and your team members or colleagues for a certain maybe appreciation, for a certain credit, for a certain kind of work, or to take up a project. So there will surely be some tug of war, or you wanting a credit, or you wanting a certain role. So that kind of a thing may be happening. So some friction at work may be coming up upon you. So keep your mind open, keep your eyes open, and try and avoid that, because this may not be good. However, you will find that during the later part of the month, Venus will be transiting from the 4th house into the 5th house, strongly igniting the romantic flavor. your need to spend more time and more intimate relationships also. So if you are in a committed relationship during the second half of the month, spending more time with your loved one, going out, spending time, social time may be spent. This is less to do with the family, but more to do with your immediate partner, the better half, the fairer sex, or maybe the opposite gender. So those people who are single may find somebody to mingle with, and so this is surely a high time of high sensual activity, romantic activity. But also for some of you, you may want to spend your time with your loved one because you feel you have neglected them or taken them for granted or not spent time with them since a few months, especially because Ketu is also going to be in conjunction with Venus for the remaining part of the month. Then Sun and Mercury would have moved from your 5th house into the 6th house. And because Mercury will be moving into its exaltation sign, while Mercury also rules the 3rd house, so communication will be the key. However, be careful that you don't come across as more authoritative or more controlling in your relationship, in your teamwork and your communication, because this will be important because the initial part of the month, Mars had been transiting to the 6th house, so you don't want to come across as pompous. However, this is a period of winning over your team members. So initial part of the month where you had struggled with your team members, the remaining part of the month will find that you have been given the accountability, you've been given the responsibility, and you have been even acknowledged for your service. Mars at the same time will be moving away your 6th house and into the sign of Libra, the sign of relationships. Now, this is a slightly tricky part, especially for those people who want to spend more time with their partner, even romantically or intimacy-wise, but with Ketu. So, if relationship is something that you are wanting to spend more time with, but you may come across as slightly more controlling and even aggressive, or maybe more demanding even in your communication, especially because Mars is also a Lagna Lord. So be a little careful, specifically from your relationship wise, because Mars is moving into Libra. However, overall, this is a pretty good month, a quieter month, but on the domestic front, we're spending more time, but more activity connected to competition, connected to work. Now, for those people who are born in the Taurus rising sign or Taurus zodiac sign, for these people you will have specifically at the start of the month Venus moving into the Cancer sign and in the 3rd house. So now Venus rules the Lagna. Venus is the Lagna Lord, also the ascendant Lord, and Venus is also the Lord of the 6th house. So the ascendant Lord and the 6th house moving into the 3rd house in Cancer sign. Here it means that some of you may be extra careful in your communication, and some of you may come across as more empathetic to your colleagues, to your team members also. And some of you may also try to bridge the gap and mend fences with some of your colleagues or some of the people who are working below you, because you feel that this is the high time that you focused and improve your relationship. So this is, even if you are not thinking about it, please do that, because this will be good for you and it will serve you in the long run, especially because of Venus also being your Lagna Lord. Now, Sun and Mercury at the start of the month will be in Leo sign, but both of them will be aspecting Rahu in the 10th house in Aquarius. So this will be giving a double impact, double energy to Rahu, which means you will want, or you will be more ambitious, connected to your work, connected to your projects, connected to how you are implementing the responsibilities given to you. So this requires slightly more tact, slightly more diplomacy, rather than coming across as more controlling, because of Sun and Mercury both aspecting Rahu. Remember that Mercury also rules the 2nd house of income and aspecting Rahu. So some of you may be looking at opportunities of increasing your income by either moving up or moving into a better role or getting promoted, and be looking at for a change, because Mercury also rules the 5th house for Taurus rising sign people. Mars will be remaining in your 5th house at the start of the month in the sign of Virgo, while Mars also rules your 12th house. So here you will find that you will get opportunities to excel, specifically for those people who are working in an individual role or working in a foreign land or in foreign organization. This is a fantastic period to excel in that role. However, because Mars also rules the 7th house and will be transiting through the 5th house, so surely some of you, single people, will have a roving eye. You may want to look out somebody's beauty, somebody's sensuality, somebody's good looks, somebody's personality may attract your attention, and you may give more focus and attention there. If you are already in a committed relationship, then be careful, because you may go too much in that tangent, and then you may find it difficult to explain yourself to your partner, because the chances of getting caught while having a roving eye is very high. So be careful for those people who are in a relationship. But for those people who are in your career, if you focus on career, specifically if you are working in an individual role or in foreign companies, very good period for a change. Now, during the later part of the month, you will find that Venus will be transiting into the 4th house and into the sign of Leo with Ketu, while Venus also rules the Lagna and Venus also rules your 6th house. So here, the change that will come because of Venus's transit will be because Venus is moving in with Ketu. The person will now try to focus more attention on the domestic life, or trying to find some time to spend with the family, because the person may feel, I have not spent time with family since some time, I have neglected them, so it's my time to give back. Especially because it's with Ketu, which means this is what you want to do for your family rather than for self. So here, this will give you the sense of responsibility towards family, towards your domestic life, and you may want to do that. Now, Sun and Mercury would be transiting into the 5th house, into the sign of Virgo, second half of the month. So here, the emphasis will be on trying to improve situations or conditions, both connected to work, but also connected to finances and accounts. So if some of you have invested money, why money? Because because Mercury also rules your 2nd house of income, savings, livelihood. And Venus and Mercury also rules the 5th house of accounts, investment, speculative investment. So Mercury is moving into an exaltation sign. So there will be high focus. This may also be a good time to invest by being careful, by being diligent in some thought-through investments, but also the good time to even look out for a new opportunity for change even in your career. Mars would have moved away from your 5th house from Virgo into your 6th house and Libra. Now, keep in mind that Mars also rules your 12th house and moving into the 6th house, while also ruling the 7th house. So you have very high chance that you may be pulled into a project where you may have to team up with team members, specifically if you're working in foreign lands or foreign companies. However, at the start of the responsibility, there may be some friction and there may be some tug of war between you and your colleagues. So be careful not to overexert yourself, not to come across as too pushy. Now, for those people who are born in the Gemini rising sign or Gemini zodiac sign, for these people, start of the month, Venus will be in your 2nd house in the sign of Cancer. Now, remember that Venus rules both your 12th house and Venus also rules your 5th house and will be transiting through, at least at the start of the month, through your 2nd house. So here, the focus and emphasis will be for those people who are working in multinational corporations, foreign brands, in some way connected to, directly or indirectly, to foreign companies, foreign clients, foreign responsibilities. You will find this is a good opportunity to increase your earnings, increase your servings, especially if you are in a hospitality industry or service industry or IT industry. This is surely a good time to increase your earnings or put up your hand for even a change in role or even a new role may be coming to you. However, there surely will be emphasis on going out and spending time with your loved ones, and maybe going out to dine a few times in the month will be coming through. So spending time with your loved ones, maybe somebody who you are in a romantic relationship, may also be coming by. So surely more social time will be spent on going out and dining with family members or in your romantic relationship. Secondly, Sun and Mercury both will be transiting through the 3rd house initially, while be aspecting Rahu. So the ambition here will be to use your experiences to get more gains. However, the tendency should also be to be more tactful and diplomatic, specifically when dealing with superiors. Because Saturn, which is ruling the 9th house, is transiting through the 10th house of career, but is retrograde. So something that you are being too pushy or being too authoritative may come across as not fair or not right to superiors. So be careful not to rub them the wrong way. So tact and being diplomatic at the start of the month is the name of the game. Mars will be transiting through your 4th house initially through Virgo. Mars rules your 6th house of enemies, people acting behind your back, but Mars also rules your 11th house of social life and wishes and desires. So your wishes and desires may be connected to family members. However, if you are not in good terms with any of your family members, maybe father, maybe sibling, maybe your own spouse, partner, children, then there is a chance that you may get into unnecessary friction with any of the family members. So be careful through this month, at least while Mars is in the 4th house, not to unnecessarily get into some friction with a family member, because this may be remembered for a long period. Now, towards the second half of the month, you will find Venus transiting away from your 3rd house into your, away from your 2nd house into the 3rd house, while Venus also rules your 12th house and your 5th house and moving into the 3rd house. So you will find some of you may need to put in higher effort connected to work. Specifically, as I said earlier, if you're working in foreign lands or with foreign clients or multinational companies or in an individual role, especially for IT industry people, this is more important. Now, because Venus is with Ketu, which means this effort that you may put in, be careful of using the right terms, using the right business language, controlling your data and doing due diligence where data is concerned, because the chances that you may skip something or ignore something is very high because of Ketu being here. So keep note of your communication, keep note of what you're presenting specifically to superiors because of Saturn going retrograde to your 10th house. Now, to the 2nd house of the part of the month, Sun and Mercury will be transiting through your 4th house. So Mercury will get into its exaltation sign. However, here you will find that both Sun and Mercury moving into the exaltation sign, with Mercury also being the Lagna Lord, which means here the focus will be on gains coming from individual effort, self-effort. So if you have put in effort since a few months and you're looking at the fruits of your labor, then you may become a little too pushy, also a bit more controlling. This can also be rubbing off your family members the wrong way, especially because Mars would have already transited from your 4th house and into the 5th house. So any friction that you may have with family members may be exploded if you are not more careful. If you have become too analytical, too complaining, then this may not be good. However, gains surely are coming at home in your domestic life. So any purchases that you do with land, home, investments will be fantastic for you going forward. Keep this in mind. However, Mars would have moved from your 4th house into the 5th house and into the sign of Libra, while Mars rules both the 6th house and Mars rules your 11th house. So social life is surely getting activated, going out, spending more time with friends, meeting up with new people, making new acquaintances, and even meeting up with an old colleague who you were not in very good terms earlier, or meeting up with somebody who was maybe a student or friend of yours earlier, who you didn't get off along very well, but suddenly you meet up with the person, or you may face the person, or you may connect with that person in some way. However, connected to work, be a little careful because Mars rules the 6th house and moving into the 5th house of gains, but speculative investment. So unnecessarily pushing for better projects or better responsibilities because of high ambition without keeping the superiors involved may not be the right thing. So keep your superiors, your elders involved, your the higher ups involved in any new activity, new initiative you're doing, because that will be more serving for you in the long run. Now, for those people who are born in the Cancer rising sign or Cancer zodiac sign, for these people, start of the month, you will find Venus moving through your Lagna in the 1st house, while Venus also rules your 11th house and Venus also rules your 4th house. So this is the period, because Venus is also the Karaka of the Cancer sign, which is also the 4th house of the Kalpurish Kundli, and Venus also rules the 4th house here. So this is an excellent period to be able to shine in every strata of society, at work, in your social life, in your neighborhood, at home. So wherever you go, you will find heads turning towards you, people looking at you, people paying attention to you. So my suggestion is that please groom yourself, wear some good perfume, wear some good labels, buy some good new clothes. If your wardrobe seems to be empty, make some of those purchases, because this is the time to be recognized. People will surely be focusing on you and giving you attention. So better to smell nice. If people are finding you attractive and want to come sit next to you, you don't want to be not be smelling well. Now, start of the month, you also have Sun and Mercury initially transiting through the Leo sign, but conjunct with Ketu, but aspecting Rahu. So yeah, this will give you high ambition, specifically connected to higher income, saving. So some of you may want to save more money because you have spent a lot over the last 2 to 3 months, because Mercury rules the 12th house of waste and excess. So some of you may feel, oh, I've spent a lot of money, I've wasted a lot of money, so let me focus, let me save. So some of you may be looking at tightening your purse strings. Some of you may be looking at those expenses which you probably shouldn't have done, and maybe looking to be a little more ambitious connected to savings. However, there may be at least one sudden expense which may be coming to you because of Rahu being in the 8th house and being under the aspect, both Mercury and Sun, because Sun also rules the 2nd house. So you may suddenly get one expense, big expense, which may eat into your purse strings. So keep that in mind. So do your due diligence whether you really need to spend that money or not, because that may be a wasteful expenditure in the long run. So if you're doing sudden shopping, which you suddenly feel this is nice, you need it, think twice before you make purchases. Start of the month, Mars is also going to be transiting through your Virgo sign through the 3rd house, while Mars rules the 5th house and Mars also rules the 10th house. Mars is a very strong, important yoga karaka for Cancer rising sign people, for Cancer zodiac sign people. So when Mars is transiting through the 3rd house but through Virgo, while ruling the 10th house of career and 5th house of speculative investments, presentations, and the world stage. So yeah, your work, your communication may be under focus. So if you have said some things or communicated loosely without thinking earlier in the past, this month, every word that you say will be under focus. What you present will be under focus. What you send data across, what you email will be under focus. So people may try to find fault in your data, in your communication, what you said. Maybe what you promised. So be careful of what you say through this month while Mars remains in the 3rd house, because your communication is the key, which may impact both your role at work as well as your impact that you're making on others. Some of you may also put in some high effort to be able to complete some projects connected to work. So this is a good time for completion of those projects. Now, through the 2nd half of the month, you will have Venus transiting away from the Lagna into the 2nd house, but now conjunct with Ketu. Now, while Venus rules the 11th house and Venus also rules the 4th house. So yeah, some of you may want to indulge yourself with food, good food, and maybe go out and spend more time. However, some of this may be maybe because of wanting to do something in your social life. Sometimes you may be pulled by your friends or your extended family or immediate family and be pulled into some occasion where you may have to eat out, dine out with them, but be careful because of Ketu being there, that not to overindulge, because this may not be good for you, this may not be good for your system. Sun and Mercury would be transiting into the 3rd house while Sun rules the 2nd house, and Mercury now gets into a exaltation sign while Mercury also rules the 12th house. So yeah, communication is key. So you will find that those people working in foreign lands, foreign companies, or in individual roles in IT, in armed services, in hospitality, or in those roles where you are an individual role, here you will find that you will do very well. Your communication will be sharp, you will be able to make a deep impact on people, and you may also be able to save more money or bring about new sales through your ability to influence people better. So keep a focus and attention on your communication skills. It is surely coming to your rescue. 2nd half of the month, Mars will be moving away from your 3rd house into your 4th house, into the sign of Libra. So this is the time where you will focus and give more time to family. Some of you may suddenly make plans to go out, maybe go on a short holiday, especially because Mars also rules the 5th house. So some of you may suddenly even propose to a girlfriend or boyfriend with whom you have been studying for some time or dating, because you find the person irresistible. So be careful of before making a commitment, because this commitment could stay with you for many, many years. So be careful before you commit. Same thing, committing to a new work, new role, new responsibility may also find you stuck because of Mars ruling the 10th house. So be very careful whatever you're committing on a personal note or on the professional note, because this is going to stay with you for a long period of time. Now, for those people who are born in the Leo rising sign or Leo zodiac sign, for these people, you will find start of the month, the 10th Lord and the 3rd Lord Venus transiting through the 12th house, but through the Cancer sign. Venus does very well to the Cancer sign, and Venus also gets exalted in the 12th house in the Kalpurush Kundi in Pisces. So this is a fantastic period for those people who are looking to do well in your work, to get appreciated, to be recognized, to put up your hand for a new role, high role, even ask for a promotion. So your efforts that you have done may bring you good luck. So don't hesitate to ask for a higher responsibility or better role or even a growth if you feel you've really done very well and if you have something to back you. If you have data, if you have proof to back what you have done, then surely this is the time to ask for that growth. Now, you will find that at the start of the month, Sun and Mercury both will be transiting through your Lagna but aspecting Rahu. So this will give you heightened desire to do very well in any of those responsibilities where you are working in a teamwork, where you're working with others. Because Mercury also rules the 2nd house of income and Mercury also rules the 11th house of wishes and desires. So your desire to be fulfilled from others, from your team, from your partner, from your conjugal relationship will be very high. Now be a little careful, because sometimes because of Sun being a very authoritative planet and controlling and leadership oriented, you may be misled into saying something or committing which you may be regretting later. So be careful. Mars will be at the start of the month transiting through your 2nd house, but in the sign of Virgo, while Mars rules the 9th house of experience, high learning, high qualification, and also Mars rules your 4th house and transiting through the 2nd house. So this will want to be you to be more pushy towards gains. So those people who have been working very hard for a long period of time, you will suddenly focus your attention on your saving, from your earning. You may feel, I worked so very hard, I want to be making more gains, I want a new house, I want a better house, I want to buy property. So the focus will be and attention will be on either a new house or home improvement or buying something for home. Some of you may even want to buy a new vehicle if you have been waiting for a vehicle, or the situation may come up such that you may want to purchase a new vehicle. So this is a good time for any purchases connected to transport, or a vehicle or a car or bike, whatever you want or whatever you appreciate. So the gains are surely coming to you, but those gains will also come connected to higher earnings where you're putting in your best experiences to use. So if you're using experiences to be making more money, then surely this is the time where that investments, even buying, purchasing of land or property may come to your help. Now, during the 2nd half of the month, you will find Venus transiting away from your 12th house into the Lagna, but with Ketu. Because Venus rules both the 3rd house as well as the 10th house, so your ability to be able to communicate with others will be strongly enhanced. People will be paying attention to everything that you say, everything that you do. So pay attention to how you're coming across, because Venus rules the 3rd house of making an impact, of influencing people. So strong influence you will be able to create connected to work, on your superiors, on power figures. So be careful of how and what you're communicating and how you're communicating to superiors, including your presentations. This is a very good period for those people who are in sales and marketing. For those people who will be presenting or showcasing their products, very, very excellent period for you. Now, during the 2nd half of the month, Sun and Mercury both will be transiting into the 2nd house, and Mercury will be in its exaltation sign, while Mercury rules the 11th house of societal life, social life, wishes and desires, and Mercury also rules the 2nd house. So a lot of you'll find that you may end up spending more time in social situations, But you may also socialize with people, and through one of the social occasions, social connections, you may even get an opportunity of earning more money. Some of them may suggest you some new investment, somebody may suggest you a new opening, some of them may even suggest you that you start working with them or applying somewhere. So surely an opportunity of increasing your earning through some connection, social connection is coming to you. Now, in the second half of the month, Mars will be transiting away from your second house into your third house, into the sign of Libra. So your communication connected to relationships is the key, because Mars also rules the ninth house, moving into the third house of communication and effort. Some of you may put in high effort on a project, on something that you wish to do and you wish to do since a long time, and also connected to your domestic life. So gains coming from your domestic life may also be high, or gains coming from property are also high. So some of you who are already purchasing property, you may get a new offer, or you may get an opportunity of investing in property, also gaining from property. Don't miss that opportunity. Now, for those people who are born in the Virgo rising sign or Virgo zodiac sign, at the start of the month, you will find Venus transiting through the 11th house, while Venus rules both the second house of income, and Venus also rules the 9th house of gains and gaining from your experiences, experiential learning also. So this will give you a heightened desire to do very well in the social context. Some of you may want to gain new acquaintances, new relationships also. So some of you may make relationships or make new acquaintances, which will be good for you in the long term. Some of you may also gain from the acquaintances in your earning or your ability to earn. So those relations, those connections that you make through with people in this month, some of them may be with people who are powerful or who socially they may be well placed. Whether you get some gains from them immediately or not, long term, this is going to be a very important connection for you, or important acquaintances for you. So these will surely impact you. So be careful of what kind of new acquaintances, what kind of new social connections you're making with people. Sun and Mercury will be initial part of the month transiting through your 12th house, while Mercury rules both the Lagna and the 10th house. So during the initial 10 to 15 days, surely there is an opportunity of leaving your motherland and even going abroad, or doing very well in your project in foreign lands or with foreign organizations, which will leave a deep impact on others. However, remember that Mercury gets debilitated in the 12th house, and here it is with Ketu. So you may leave a very deep impact and you may do very well for your project, for your organization, for your department, but you may not get the fruits of your labor immediately, but in the long run. So don't fight for unnecessary acknowledgement or appreciation if you're not getting any, but remember to document everything, because this will come to your help in the long run. Now, initial part of the month, you will have Mars transiting through the Lagna, while Mars rules the third house and Mars also rules the 8th house. So sudden opportunities, sudden developments, sudden obstacles may also come to some of you connected to career. Specifically because Saturn is retrograde in the 7th house and aspecting your Lagna and aspecting Mars. Because Mars also rules the third house and transiting through your Lagna, which means that some of you, your work may be under focus. So your higher ups may suddenly communicate with you, connect with you, want to take a feedback, want to see how you're working, how you're doing. So those higher up connections will surely be there for you. But with Saturn retrograde in the sign of Pisces, for those people who are working in foreign lands, foreign companies, be careful of how you come across. So be ready, be diligent, keep your documents ready, keep your data ready, seem to be on top of your work. Don't be caught wanting, because this is important. Now, during the second half of the month, you will find Venus transiting away from your 11th house and transiting into your 12th house. Now, this is important because Venus rules both your 9th house and Venus rules your second house of income. And now moving into the 12th house, remember Venus gets exalted in the 12th house. So you may get a sudden new opportunity to move into a new role, move into a new organization as well. So keep your eyes open, because this can be a fantastic opportunity for a change. Why change? Because Venus will be conjunct with Ketu during the initial part of the month. Sun and Mercury will be transiting through the Lagna while Sun rules the 12th house. So the focus will be strongly on your ability to lead, on your ability to take authority and take a responsibility. So keep note that this is a good period to shine, even outshine others. So put your best foot forward. Mars will be transiting away from your Lagna into the second house of income in the sign of Libra, because Mars rules the 8th house and moving into the second house. So that opportunity which may come by to may also come with a high increase of money. However, be careful of how you are communicating, because that may be make or mar for you in your career, in your ability to be able to earn more money. However, your efforts, because Mars rules the 3rd house and moving into the 2nd house, so your efforts surely will be recognized. Now, for those people who are born in the Libra zodiac sign or Libra rising sign, for these people, Venus will be transiting through the 10th house, while Venus rules the 8th house and Venus also rules the Lagna. So for Libra rising sign people, Venus transiting through the sign of Cancer. Cancer, remember, is the 4th house of the Kalpurush Kundli. Venus is the Karaka of the 4th house. So this is a very, very important placement because of Venus being the Lagna Lord, transiting through the 10th house while also ruling the 8th house. So sudden new opportunities, sudden new developments. So those people who have a colleague or you're working with a superior who is of the opposite gender. So this is an excellent period really to do very well, to outshine others, to be recognized, to be appreciated. Some of you will surely get a better role, and some of you may even get a role which will be good for you to be able to move up the career ladder. Surely high time. So excelling in the new project, excelling in the initiatives and doing very well and making a name for yourself and shining in terms of in front of your superiors is this time. Now with Sun and Mercury both transiting to the 11th house, but with Ketu, some of the acquaintances that you make during this month can be very, very good for you in the long run. Some of you may not find these acquaintances, these connections to be immediately profitable for you. But in the long run, you will find that during this month, whatever connections that you make will remain with you for long. These connections will remain with you for long. These acquaintances will remain with you for long. And in the future, some of these can be very, very good for you, very, very profitable for you. Mars will be transiting through your 12th house at the start of the month, while Mars rules your 2nd house of income. So surely a high period of doing really good, especially for those people who are in armed forces or in individual roles or in hospital services or for emergency services, anything connected to individual roles, solitary roles or foreign roles, IT roles, manufacturing roles, service roles, fantastic period for you. Now, the second half of the month, you will find Venus transiting away from your 10th house into the 11th house. So a very good period for you to be able to shine and make a change that was coming to you through the initial part of the month. The second part of the month will ask you to make a choice, ask you to make a decision. So the choice may be given to you to move into a new role, to move into a new department, to move into a new organization as well. So keep your eyes and ears open, because that opportunity can be good for you. It may not come across to you as very high paying initially. The role may be similar, the brand may be similar, but in the long run, this can be very beneficial to you. So do your due diligence before you make the decision. Sun and Mercury will be transiting into your 12th house. Mercury doesn't do very well in the 12th house. However, Sun does well, because for Sun being the 11th lord moving into the 12th house. So some of you will have your wishes and desires fulfilled in a new role or in foreign lands or those services or work where you are in an individual capacity. So keep your eyes open and make the best use of this opportunity to excel and shine. Mars would be transiting away into your Lagna, away from your 12th house into the Lagna, while Mars rules the 2nd house and Mars rules the 7th house. So very, very strong period of you to earn higher from certain connection. So keep your eyes and ears open to new opportunity coming to you, which will be able to increase your earnings, or even through speculative investments, or to get into a relationship, even partnership. So for those people who are in business, to get into a new partnership to increase your earnings is high. Now, for those people who are born in the Scorpio rising sign or Scorpio zodiac sign, start of the month, you will find Venus transiting through your 9th house, while Venus rules both your 7th house and Venus rules your 12th house. So this is a good period for you to find new connections which are gainful for you in the long run. Now, Venus ruling the 12th house and moving into the 9th house, which means a long distance travel is surely upon some of you, or an opportunity to do so is there, or to opportunity to get into a new learning, to do a higher certification is there. So here the zodiac is telling you, if you feel you're stagnant, you're not growing, doing new certification, getting a new qualification, even a short duration qualification which is connected to your career may be an excellent period, excellent thing to do, because this will be helpful for you even your career, because both Sun and Mercury are transiting through your 10th house of career or work. So initial part of the month, surely this is the time to excel for those people who are in some way connected to IT services, manufacturing, or domestic appliances or services, or even in armed services or insurance. So all those people are related to the 8th house, insurance, taxation, analytics, or even performing arts. Very good period for you to be looking out for an opportunity and doing well in your career, specifically to be able to leave a strong, long-lasting effect on your superiors. So make the use of this period. Mars will be transiting through your 11th house while Mars rules the Lagna. So very strong period of at least one wish and desire which you have been waiting to get fulfilled to be fulfilled this month. So keep your eyes open for which opportunity is being given to you to shine and to be able to increase your stature, and standing in society. Specifically connected to service, this is a very, very strong opportunity. Some of you will surely get an opportunity to excel and to do very well, and some of you may even get promoted or get an opportunity to move up. Now, the second part of the month, you will find Venus transiting away from your 9th house into the 10th house, but with Ketu. So this means, because Venus rules both the 12th house and the 7th house, moving into the career 10th house, but with Ketu, very, very strong new opportunity coming to you to excel, to do very well in a new role with a new team. So some of you will find either the role changes, or the team changes, or the project changes, or even your organization or your department may also change. So keep an eye out and do your diligence before you make that choice. Sun and Mercury would have moved into the 11th house, but where Mercury is in an exaltation sign, while Mercury also rules your 8th house. So yeah, a sudden opportunity coming to excel and do very well on the social front. The social life may be good, you may go out, you may meet with new friends. So a sudden new connection may also bring you into a sharp focus, and you may shine. Socially, some of you may be shining and you may do very well. So at parties or social events, you may do very well. So spruce up your wardrobe, groom yourself, because sudden opportunity to excel may be there. Some of this opportunity, some of these acquaintances may be not only good for your career, because Sun rules the 10th house, but also your friends circle, the social life in the long run. Very, very excellent period to make new acquaintances. Now, Mars would have moved away from the 11th house into the 12th house, while Mars is the Lagna Lord. So surely some wish and desire may end up moving you into, or pointing you into a tangent where you may do very well in a foreign line, or in foreign services, or in IT services, or in manufacturing, in armed forces, in hospitality. Excellent period. So for those people who are in all those kinds of career roles, keep an eye open and make the best use of that opportunity. Surely in service wise, you're going to shine. Now, for those people who are born in the Sagittarius zodiac sign or Sagittarius rising sign, for these people, start of the month, you will find Venus transiting through the Cancer sign, but through the 8th house. Now, apart from Saturn, Venus does very well in the 8th house, but for different reasons. Here, for Sagittarius zodiac sign people, Venus rules both the 6th house and the 11th house, and now transiting through the 8th house. So, in some way, this is a Nijbhang Raj Yoga also. So, Venus being the 6th lord moving into the 8th house, which means a sudden opportunity to excel and do well in your service. Specifically, those people who are in a service, customer-oriented role, customer-facing role, surely very, very good period. Suddenly, a new acquaintance may also come, or a new connection may also come forth for you, for those people who are all connected to the 8th house careers. Insurance, taxation, performing services, IT, manufacturing, anything related to analytics. Excellent period for you to excel and do very well. So make the use of it. Start of the month, you'll also have Sun and Mercury transiting through the 9th house, while Mercury rules the 10th house. So this is surely a high period of gaining from your high experiences and excelling in your career. So those people who are ready to learn from your high experiences, ready to focus your attention or employ your competence in your work will do very, very well. So don't miss any opportunity for a new initiative or a new project that you're pulled into. Take that up and shine with others. Mars would be transiting through your 10th house initial part of the month, while Mars rules the 12th house and Mars also rules the 5th house. So a new opportunity coming for making a change or doing some new role or taking up a new initiative. This is not so much about changing your career, but excelling in your project or an initiative that you're doing, or new initiative being given to you, new responsibility given to you, and excelling in that. Now keep in mind that this may require a lot of effort because Mars rules the 12th house. So be ready to burn the midnight oil, pull up your socks, because this is going to be very helpful to you in the long run. Now, towards the second half of the month, Venus would have been transited from your 8th house into the 9th house, but with Ketu. So this is a period where you will focus your attention on excelling in your service. However, this will be less profitable for you in the immediate future. But your team may do very well, your department may do very well, so the results will surely show. Your superiors will do very well. Some of your superiors may take more credit for that initially, but in the long run, this will be good for you. So don't complain if you are not getting credited or getting appreciation, at least for this month. Second half of the month, Sun and Mercury would have transited into the 10th house, where Mercury gets into its exaltation sign, while Mercury also rules the 7th house. Excellent period to shine in any team role. Some of you who are married may also find that you do very well in your career. If your relationship at home is excellent with your spouse, then you'll also excel in your career. So keep your fences mended with people who are in your family, especially the better half, because that relationship is going to help you shine, especially with Venus also moving into the 9th house. Now, the second half of the month, Mars would have moved away from your 10th house and into the Libra sign in your 11th house. Very, very strong ability to be able to shine in a social role. So some of you may go out with your friends, a new connection may suddenly come upon you, but be a little careful of not being too indulgent, because some of you may say or do something which may even spoil your reputation of how you come across socially. So keep a tab on not over drinking or saying something which in an anger or in a over exuberant manner, which may rub people the wrong way. However, one relationship that you connect with in this month, this will go a long way and will remain throughout your life. So be careful of who you are making that connection with, specifically the romantic connection that you make. Now, for those people who are born in the Capricorn rising sign or Capricorn zodiac sign, for these people, start of the month, you will find Venus transiting through the 7th house, while Venus rules the 10th house of your work, your career, but also the 5th house. So very, very strong chance of doing very well in your career in a team role, in a team project. So some of you may suddenly pulled into a team project and be asked to work with people. Some of them will be new people. Some of you may find that you're working closer with somebody of the opposite gender. Now be careful of how you work with them, because there may be sparks flying romantically. So you end up spending too much time with somebody who's of the opposite gender, and you end up being romantically linked with them, even if you don't have an intention, or actually falling for them. So if you are already in a committed relationship, be a little careful, because this relationship will remain with you and stick with you for a long period of time. This may even cost your current relationship, and you may end up in that relationship, in the new relationship, for a long period of time. The chance that you may meet this person through work is very, very high. So be very careful, because Venus is transiting through the Cancer sign. This is a very highly emotional period for you. With Sun and Mercury both transiting through the 8th house, while Mercury also rules your 9th house, and Venus and Mercury also rules the 6th house, which means the chances of you getting into a new relationship, new connection, and sudden new connection, which will also bring up new opportunities, but also obstacles for you, is high. So be careful of what new work role that you take up. But this will be better for those people whose career is connected to government works, all professional work, administrative roles, consulting roles. Excellent period for them. Mars will be transiting through your 9th house, while Mars rules the 11th house and Mars rules your 4th house. So this is a high period of traveling long distance for something that you have an ambition for, where you have you think that your vision, desire will be fulfilled either through education or in the domestic life or a purchase, or if you're connected to the home industry or anything connected to home, real estate, those people are going to do very well in the initial part of the month. Now, in the later part of the month, Venus would be transiting away from your 7th house into the 8th house and now getting conjunct with Ketu. So now remember, because Venus rules both your 10th house and your 5th house, it is a very strong yoga karaka for Capricorn rising sign people or zodiac sign people, and moving into the 8th house with Ketu. Now, Venus does very well in the 8th house, but with Ketu, which means whatever you will be doing in a shared partnership, shared role, shared property, also shared resources, you may do more for others. So if you are buying new property with somebody, even your better half, be careful of not doing or overdoing it, because this may not be fruitful for you in the long run. Giving or sharing too much credit with a team member or giving more credit to them may also be at your cost. So be careful of not overdoing and allowing credit or recognition to go for others. This is also important because Sun and Mercury are both transiting through your 9th house of gains, while Sun rules your 8th house. So a sudden over credit being given to somebody else while you are looking for the gains may be a situation. So be careful. Now, but this is a good period where Mars will be moving into your Libra sign, the sign of relations, in the 10th house, where Mars rules both your 11th house of wishes and desires and the 4th house. So those people who are connected to the construction industry, building industry, hospitality industry, service industry, IT industry, manufacturing will do very, very well. New opportunity may also be coming by for you. So keep your eyes open. This move, once you make the move, you will not be looking back. Now, for those people who are born in the Aquarius rising sign or Aquarius zodiac sign, for these people, Venus at the start of the month will be transiting through your 6th house. Remember that Venus rules both the 4th house and Venus also rules the 9th house and transiting through the Cancer sign, but to the 6th house. Now, Venus normally gets debilitated in the 6th house in the sign of Virgo in the Kalpurush Kundli. So this is slightly tough or critical period for you. So be careful of who you are connecting with socially, because this will also sometimes get you into trouble with the fairer gender or the opposite gender. So be careful of what you say, how you come across, what data you share, how you work in a team effort, because this will be this may not be going wrong or against you, but surely the amount of results that you get, the amount of appreciation that you get may be lesser for you. The gains that you get from these will be lesser. But this is a good period for those people who are doing something connected to the domestic life, products connected to domestic life, or family appliances, anything that is connected to family, home decor, designing home, construction home, business dealings about home, home loans. All of these people will do very well because of Sun and Mercury both transiting through the 7th house, while Mercury also rules the 8th house. So some of you may find a sudden connection which will be useful for you in a team environment. However, the chances that you may come across as more controlling, more leadership oriented while you are taking responsibility will also be high, specifically with Rahu transiting through the Lagna and both Sun and Mercury aspecting it. So very high ambition in a team role may rub people the wrong way in a team role. So be careful of what you say and how you are dealing with colleagues. Because Saturn, the Lagna Lord, is also retrograde in the Pisces sign in the 2nd house of income. Now, start of the month, Mars will also be transiting through your 6th house, while Mars rules the 10th house and your 3rd house of effort. So through your effort, sudden opportunity may come for you. However, through a sudden challenge, you will find that your work is getting stuck up. Your efforts are getting stuck up. But here, the thing that will extricate you will be your communication, your ability to influence people, because Mars rules the 3rd house. So be careful of what data you're sharing, what you're presenting, but be very, very careful of how you're communicating, what words you're using, what you're putting on your presentation. So be very, very well prepared whenever you're saying something, whenever you're presenting, whenever you're showing data specifically connected to work. Now, during the second part of the month, you will find that Venus transiting into the 7th house, but with conjunct with Ketu, because Venus rules both the the 4th house and the 9th house and transiting through the 7th house, which means, but with Ketu, a very, very strong chance of a status quo change in your domestic life or even in your connection in a romantic liaison. This may also come by when you are getting into a workshop with somebody or even in a long distance travel with somebody. So, be careful of who you're dealing with and how you are communicating with people, because the credit that you get out of this project may come less to you and more to others, but this will be good for you in the long run. However, surely new acquaintances are going to get you gains in the long run. With Sun and Mercury both transiting in the second house of the half of the month through the sign of Virgo, where Mercury gets exalted, while Mercury also rules the 5th house. So through some speculative investments, some of you may also indulge in shared resources or investment in shared resources. So be careful of where you are investing, especially if you're investing along with your spouse or with your better half, or if you're in a committed relationship with that person in some investment. Be careful of where you're making the investment. Ensure that the documentation is really watertight. Now, Mars will be transiting away from your 8th house and into the 9th house, while Mars rules the 10th house of career. Now, because Mars also rules the 3rd house of effort and communication and the 10th house, and moving through the 9th house to the sign of Libra, which means a new connection when you're traveling or when you are learning or in a new workshop, or that connection may also come from a different culture or from foreign lands. So that may be very beneficial for you. Some of you may get an opportunity of working with a colleague or a department or with a client who is abroad or who is in a different location. So be careful of what you say, because that communication will have a deep impact on how you're showcasing your work and how you're presenting yourself. So this is the period of better gains for you career-wise, as long as your communication is is under control and is not over-aggressive. Now, for those people who are born in the Pisces rising sign or Pisces zodiac sign, start of the month you will have Venus transiting through your 9th house, while Venus rules both the third house of effort, communication, doing things on your own, as well as Venus rules the 8th house, now transiting through the 5th house. So sudden opportunity coming, which will help you use your communication to excel and do very well, connected to either new role, new project, or even change in career. So suddenly a new opportunity coming to you where somebody is saying, you want to work with us, you want to work in an organization, you want to work in a new department, that will be there. If some of you are stagnant, then please keep an eye out in this month to find a new opportunity, because if you are keeping an eye out for a new opportunity, new role, the chances that it will come to you are very high, depending how Venus is placed in your horoscope. So through your effort, a new opportunity coming for you where you are going to excel in your career or move into a new role in your career is also very high. Sun and Mercury both transiting through the Sun's own sign, but through the 6th house, while Mercury rules the 7th house, which means one connection may snap if you're not very careful. Specifically, a romantic relationship or a committed relationship may snap when Venus is transiting through the 5th house because of somebody else, an outsider, interfering in your relation and you becoming aggressive because Mars is transiting through the 7th house. So be a little careful, because Mars also rules the 2nd house of income and Mars also rules the 9th house of long distance travel and gains. So over-aggressive communication in your team may also rub you the wrong way. This may keep an impact on your growth. So be a little careful both on the relationship front and on the team front. Now, the later half of the month, Venus would have transited away from your 5th house into the 6th house. But normally, Venus doesn't do very well. But here, because it is with Ketu, which means some of the actions that you do you may be doing for team members, more for self, rather than for self, but for team members, because Venus also rules the 8th house and Venus rules the 3rd house of communication and your effort, and Venus going into the 6th house, which means you may do or you may excel in your some project or an initiative where the credit initially may be more for team members rather than you, but in the long run you may get the credit. So don't feel bad or don't feel dissatisfied if you're not getting as much credit for your work as you feel you need to get, but this may come good for you in the long run. Now, the later part of the month, Sun and Mercury both will be transiting through the 7th house, where Mercury is getting into its exaltation sign. So, excellent period to formalize your relationship, getting into a committed relationship, moving into a new team, working with new team members, committing to a better project where you're involved in the team. All good for you. Some of you may also find a new relationship and commit into a new domestic life also, specifically with Jupiter transiting through the 4th house. So very good period for you. This is also highlighted because Mars is transiting through the 8th house of sexual relationship, but to the sign of Libra. And because Mars rules the 9th house of high gains, Mars also rules the 2nd house, which means some of you may also fructify or commit into a new relationship also and gain from a new acquaintances, new experiences also. So put your best foot forward, both on the service front, on the relationship front. Excellent time for good teamwork. So now, friends, that we have seen how through this month, different transits are giving you different opportunities, different permutations and combinations to see how these planets are placed in your horoscope, what flavors they will be inculcating in the results, because that will also impact how this month goes for you. So friends, like this video, share this video, and if you're looking for a personal consultation from me, please reach out to me with the link given below. Until some other time with some other video, this is your friend Astrologer and that is fun signing off. Ciao.